كائنات موجود ولا وقت محدود ولا عجل ممدود فترى الخلائق بقدرته ونشر الرياح برحمته وودد بالسكر ميدان عرض ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وحبيبنا وحبيب رب العالمين أبي القاسم وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعن على أعدائهم أجمعين من أول يوم ظلمهم إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المبين وقوله الحق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذ قالت الملائكة يا مريم إن الله اصطفاك وطهرك واصطفاك على النساء العالمين. صدق الله العظيم. The first verse of the Word. The second verse of the Word in honor of Hassan and Hussein, the masters of the youths of paradise. And finally, the last verse of the Word in honor of the Imam of our time, Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman al-Islam. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Every year, millions of Muslims, they cry on the personality of Fatima Zahra sallallahu alayha around the world. And there are multitudes of gatherings, they commemorate her life, they mourn her life, and there are performances of praise, of joy and honor for her in which her noble characteristics and her noble traits are remembered. And Muslims also hold rituals of lamentation such as these majalis that we're having in commemoration of this holy personality. What do they do in these majalis? They go over some of the painful events that happened to Lady Zahra sallallahu alayha. Just so why? Just so we can go over this history of this personality? No, we're supposed to learn something from this personality. It's not our duty just to know when she was born, who her father was, who her mother was, and when she was shaheed. No, that's not our duty. It's our duty to learn from this personality. When you look at the Quran, if you look at the Quran from one aspect, there's a lot of history in the Quran. Meaning what? Meaning that the Quran talks about Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. Is that history or no? The Quran talks about the life of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. History or no? Why does it talk about these prophets? Just so we know that they existed? No, the Quran itself says that they're telling you historical incidences. Why? So we learn from them. The same way, Hazrat Zahra sallallahu her personality, it becomes wajib for us to learn from her. What was her character like? What were some of the things that she did in her life? How can we implement what she did in her life to today's time? These become necessary for us. But tonight's lecture, I'm not focusing. Inshallah, tomorrow, the day after, I will get a chance to talk about what her character was and how we can implement what she did in her lifetime to today's society. Because a lot of people, they have this question. She lived 1400 years ago. There's nothing in common between 1400 years ago and today's society. Is that really true? Is there really nothing in common? No, there are things in common. It's that commonality that we need to bring from Shahdadi Zahra and apply it. It becomes our duty to apply it into our own lives. But the problem is the true history of the short life of Sayyidah Zahra, the narration states, how old was she when she was martyred? 18, 19, 20 at the most. Short life. In this short life, there were so many musibat that happened on Lady Zahra that the Imam Jafar Sadiq he says that four personalities, he says that in the history of mankind there have been four personalities that cried the most. One was Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, who cried for 40 years. The second was Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salam, who cried over his son. The third was whom? Lady Zahra sallallahu alayha. The third was Lady Zahra. What is the Imam trying to say? The Imam is trying to say that those 3 months that Lady Zahra sallallahu alayha was born, or that those 3 months that she lived after the shahadat of the Holy Prophet, in those 3 months she cried as much as Prophet Adam alayhi salam. In those 3 months, she cried as much as Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam over the loss of his son. His son wasn't lost, he disappeared. And the other was Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam. But this is what the Imam is telling us. Why did Lady Zahra cry that much? What happened to her? But tonight's lecture, what I want to focus on is the status of Lady Zahra. Why is that important? A lot of people, they don't know where her status is. A lot of Muslims, they don't know. You might ask, well, why don't we talk about her and not her status? Because you and I will never be able to understand who Zahra was in her essence. The Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, he himself, he says that Lady Zahra, in the tafsir of the Quran in Surah Al-Qadr, you get a narration from Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, he says that Lady Zahra, she is known as Laylatul Qadr. She is known as Laylati in that surah, and Al-Qadr is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you understand Lady Zahra, if you understand her in her essence, then you've understood Laylatul Qadr. You and I will never be able to understand. We don't even know when Laylatul Qadr is, let alone understand it. Let alone understand. It's the same way we do not know where Lady Zahra sallallahu alayha's grave is. With certainty. Why? Why were there so many beers that were given? Why were there so many janazas that the Imam had to make? Why were there so many qabrs that the Imam had to make? Just as Laylatul Qadr is hidden, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to hide Lady Zahra sallallahu alayha. But like I said, tonight's lecture, the Holy Prophet himself, he says, look, there have been a lot of men who have succeeded, but there have only been 4 women who succeeded in the history of mankind. There are whom? Who are they? Who are they? Lady Zahra sallallahu alayha, Lady Khadija, Lady Maryam, and Asiya, the wife of Fir'aun. When it's only and only out of this history of mankind, when it's only and only these 4 women that have succeeded, then the question arises, out of these 4 women, whose status is higher? Whose status is higher? The Holy Quran itself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that some prophets, their status is higher than other prophets. When we, as Shias, we look at the tafsir of that verse of the Quran, some of the Mufassirin say, you know what, this verse can also be applied to the Imams. Some Imams are higher in status than other Imams. So when this verse can be applied to the Imams also, then why can't we use that same reasoning to find out who has a higher status? Lady Maryam sallallahu alayha or Lady Zahra sallallahu alayha? When you read the Quran, you see so many verses about Lady Maryam. But how many verses do you see about Lady Zahra? You see that Lady Maryam's, her name is used in the Quran. But Lady Zahra's name isn't used in the Quran. But because it's used in the Quran, does that make Lady Maryam's status higher than Lady Zahra's? Hazrat Musa's name has come more times than the Holy Prophets, yet we all agree as Muslims that the Holy Prophet's status is higher. Hazrat Ibrahim's name comes more times in the Quran, yet we all agree that the Holy Prophet's status is higher than Hazrat Ibrahim. So tonight I just want to compare Lady Zahra sallallahu alayha to Lady Maryam from the Quran and the hadith that we have about both of these people, and try to come to a conclusion that it's Lady Zahra sallallahu alayha whose status is higher than Lady Maryam. Our aqidah, that's perfectly fine that it's in its place. But when someone asks us to prove our aqidah to be true, then it becomes necessary for us to prove it. So how can we prove from the Quran, from the hadith, that Lady Zahra's status was higher than Lady Maryam's status? When it comes to Lady Maryam alayhi salam, the verse of the Quran which I started this lecture off with, وَإِذْ قَالَتِ الْمَلَائِكَةُ يَا مَرْيَمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ اسْتَفَاكِ وَطَهَّرَكِ وَاسْتَفَاكِ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ الْعَالَمِينَ. Ya Maryam, when the angel said, Ya Maryam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen you, He's purified you, and He's chosen you over the women of all the nations. Over here, they use this verse and they say, look, Lady Maryam was chosen over the women of all nations. But does this mean that these nations that she was chosen from are Are the nations from the beginning of time to the end of time? Or was she only chosen for her time? This is a question to be asked. Was her status only for her time, or was it for all of time? If you say that it was for all, alaykum salam wa rahmatullah. If you say that it was for all of time, then why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying that He's chosen Lady Maryam over the nations? Why is He saying that? You have to remember first and foremost that this verse, what is it doing? It's telling us a conversation that happened between two people how long ago? 400 or 500 years ago. One. And when you go to the tafsir of this verse, the mufassirin, they say that the first istifa'kid, she was chosen twice. The first istifa'kid was what? Was that she was chosen to be in the lineage of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. One. The second istifa'kid that is in this verse, they say that the second istifa'kid refers to what? Her being pure and her being chosen for Hazrat Isa alayhi salam to come into this world. When Lady Maryam was chosen twice, we do not even have one verse of the Quran. If a Christian says what verse of the Quran that show that Lady Zahra sallallahu was even chosen one time, do we have a verse of the Quran? No. But tell us, how do we get the explanation of the Quran? Where do we get the explanation of the Quran from? We get it from the Hadith. We get it from the Hadith. Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam. Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, he was asked this question. His companion says, Ya Mawla, this statement of the Holy Prophet that Lady Zahra is Sayyidat al-Nisa al-Alameen, is she Sayyidat al-Nisa al-Alameen just of her time? And the Holy Imam, he goes, no. Sayyidat al-Nisa al-Alameen just of her time was only and only Lady Maryam. Sayyidat al-Nisa al-Alameen, Fatima, Sayyidat al-Nisa al-Alameen, from the first of time to the last of time, for all of time. And what proof is that, Maulana? What proof do we have? The Quran itself, it says that Lady Maryam was chosen above all the nations. The Imam, what does he say? He says, look, read the Quran carefully. There are parts in the Quran. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قَالَ أَغَيْرَ اللَّهُ أَبْغِيكُمْ إِلَٰهًا وَهُوَ فَضَّلْكُمْ عَلَى الْعَالَمِينَ. Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, he's talking to Bani Israel and he says, shall I seek for you a God other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when He has favored you above all the nations? Bani Israel is favored above all the nations. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ وَالنَّبُوَّةَ وَرَزَقْنَاهُم مِّنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ وَفَضَّلْنَاهُمْ عَلَى الْعَالَمِينَ. Bani Israel were given the book, the hikmah, and they were given all of the good things, and they were chosen above the nations. Two. The third one, وَلَقَدْ اخْتَرْنَاهُمْ عَلَى عِلْمِ عَلَى الْعَالَمِينَ. This is for Bani Israel. And we chose them having knowledge above the nations. So the Quran clearly states that the Banu Israel were chosen above all the nations. But then in Surah Al-Imran, verse number 110, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, according to the Sunni Mufassirin and according to the Shia Mufassirin, that this verse that was revealed in Surah Al-Imran, the Sunni Mufassirin, they say that this was revealed for whom? They say that this was revealed for the Islamic nation as a whole. The Shia Mufassirin, they say no. This verse particularly was not for the Islamic nation as a whole. It was for whom? Only and only the Shia. كُنْتُ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجْتُ لِلنَّاسِ تَعْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَتَنْهُونَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. You are the best of nations. This verse, Imam, this verse was revealed for whom? Our Mufassirin, they say that this verse was revealed for the Aima alayhi salam. Why? Because it was only and only the Imams that did what this verse said. The Sunni Mufassirin, they say, no, this verse was revealed for the Islamic nation as a whole, because why? The Islamic nation calls people to the right path. But whether this verse was revealed for the Islamic nation as a whole, or this verse was revealed for just to Ahlul Bayt, it doesn't matter. Why? The only thing that matters is this verse was not revealed for the Banu Israel. Now, there's a new nation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen, and that nation is which nation? Islam. The nation of Muslims, the ummah of the Holy Prophet according to Sunnis, or the Ahlul Bayt according to us. So when the Quran, it says so many times that the Banu Israel have been chosen amongst the nations. And now there's a verse that says, no, there's a new nation that's been chosen. What does this mean? This means that the nations that were chosen before, they were chosen just only and only for their time. Now this new nation is coming. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen this new nation. So when Lady Maryam alayhi salam, she was chosen amongst the women, amongst the alameen, she was chosen only and only amongst the women of her time. Now that Lady Zahra has come, she was chosen not just amongst the women of her time, amongst the women of the past, amongst the women of the future, until the end of time. Until the end of time. Secondly, in that same verse, وَإِذْ قَالَتِ الْمَلَائِكَةُ يَا مَرْيَمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ اصْطَفَاكِ وَطَهَّرَكِ وَاصْطَفَاكِ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ الْعَالَمِينَ. It's in the same verse. Who is doing the talking? Who's doing the talking? وَإِذْ قَالَتِ الْمَلَائِكَةُ. The malaika, the angels are the ones that are doing the talking. Who are they talking to? Are they talking to Prophet Zakaria? No. Are they speaking with Prophet Yahya? No, they're not. Are they talking to any prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Hazrat Maryam, we all agree, is not a prophet. This verse, the angel is clearly speaking with Hazrat Maryam. Yes or no? Yes. The angel is not speaking with any prophet. They're speaking to Lady Maryam. So one thing is clear from the verse, that angels do not only descend upon men. Angels do not only descend upon the prophets. Angels descend upon those who have devoted their whole life to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and live their life in His obedience without committing sins. Those who live their lives in obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through total submission to Him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He makes them His hujjah. He makes them one of His signs. So these angels will descend upon these signs and they will converse with them. They will converse with them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send wahi on them. This angel talking with Lady Maryam, what is this known as? An angel comes down with what? Wahi. He comes down with the revelation. So this angel talking to Lady Maryam would be wahi, but it wouldn't be wahi am for everyone to follow. It would be wahi khas, just only and only for Lady Maryam to follow. This same example similar to this, happens with whom? The mother of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say about the mother of Hazrat Musa? And we reveal to the mother of Musa. For what? To put Hazrat Musa in a cat, to put Hazrat Musa in a basket, and to put him in the river. So the angels are talking to whom? The mother of Musa alayhi salam. The angels are speaking with whom? Maryam bint Imran. The angels are speaking with whom? Hazrat Sarah, the wife of Hazrat Ibrahim, the mother of Hazrat Yaqub. Is there any incident in the life of Hazrat Zahra where the angels speak to her? Is there any example? Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, what does he say? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, he says that Fatima was known as Muhaddisa because angels used to circle above her head in the sky and call out, Ya Fatima. Ya Fatima, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen you and purified you and chosen you amongst all the women of the nation. One night, the riwayat, it goes one night, meaning what? That these angels didn't just come for Fatima just one time. They would continuously do it every night. So one night, Lady Fatima, she asked the angels, was it not Lady Maryam who was chosen amongst the women of the nation? And the angel says, Ya Maryam, Ya Fatima, Lady Maryam was chosen amongst the women of her time, but you have been chosen amongst the women of the past, the present, the future of all time. So that means what? That means that the angels would also speak with Lady Zahra sallallahu alaihi. But it was Muhammad Third, in the same verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He has purified Lady Maryam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that He has purified Lady Maryam. And it was because of and after this purification that she was given the glad tidings of whom? Nabiullah Isa alayhi salam. Yes. Her purification was limited to one aspect of her personality. Her purification, I repeat, her purification was limited to one aspect of her personality, which was chastity. But for Lady Zahra from Shia Hadith and Sunni sources, such as Mustadrak al-Sahihain, Tafsir Tabari, you look at the historical books, they all say the Holy Prophet came to the house. Our Mufassirin, in our books, Hadith al-Qissa is there. I can recite from our books, but I choose not to. In the other books, it says that the Holy Prophet, he came to the house of Salama. Salama herself, she says that the Holy Prophet, he came to my house and he asked for a cloak. Then Fatima came and she sat underneath the cloak. Then Imam Hassan came, he sat underneath. Then Imam Hussein came, then he sat underneath. Then Ali came and he sat underneath. And when they all sat underneath the Holy Prophet, he raises his hands and he says, Ya Allah, these are the people of my house. Ya Allah, keep uncleanliness away from them and make them clean and pure. That's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he reveals the words, إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُذْهِبَ عَنكُمُ الرِّجْسَ أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only desires to keep away the uncleanliness from you, O people of the house, and purify you a thorough purification. The purification of Lady Zahra wasn't limited to some aspect of her character, but the phrase purify you a thorough purification signifies that this purification was of her whole being. It was of her whole being, purified from bodily impurity, which is the reason she was known as Tahiratul Zakiyah. Purified from oral impurity, which is why she was known as Siddiqa. Purified from the impurity of not being satisfied, which is why she was known as Al-Raziyah. Purified from the impurity of being unchaste, which is why she was known as Al-Batul. Purified from the impurity of displeasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is why she was known as Marziyah. Purified from the impurity of irreligiousness, which is why she was known as Zahida. Purified from the impurity of not worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is why she was known as Abida. Purified from the impurity of injustice, which is why she was known as Adila. Purified from the impurity of stupidity, which is why she was known as Alima. Purified from the impurity of laziness, which is why she was known as Al-Amila. Purified from the impurity of not being loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why she was known as Al-Habiba. Purified from the impurity of not performing Hajj. That's why she was known as Hajjiyah. Purified from the impurity of not being able to think. That's why she was known as Hakima. Purified from the impurity of being lowly. That's why she was known as Jalila. Purified from the impurity of ugliness. That's why she was known as Jamila. Purified from the impurity of being fallible. That's why she was known as Masuma. Purified from the impurity of not being blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why she was known as Mubarakah. Purified from the impurity of imperfection. That's why she was known as Salima. Purified from the impurity of impiousness. That's why she was known as Taqiyya. Purified from every type of impurity. وَيْتُحَرِكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. That's why she was known as Mutahhira. This was Lady Zahra. Lady Zahra was not just impure, or she was not just pure from one aspect. She was pure from every aspect of her being. Every aspect of her being. About Lady Maryam's devotedness. When Prophet Zakaria, he would go into her chamber, he'd see fruits that were in her chamber. In the wintertime, he'd see fruits that would only be for summer season. In the summertime, he'd see fruits that would only be in the winter season. He would be astonished and he would say, Ya Maryam, where does this food come from? And Lady Maryam should reply, Ya Rasul, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to who He pleases. He gives to who He pleases. No doubt that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to who He pleases. But He gives based on how much the receiver can handle and the worth of the deed in His eyes after accounting for intention and obedience. He gives based on how much that receiver can handle. One morning, Fatima Zahra, she found out that both of her sons, they were ill. Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, they were both ill. The Holy Prophet, he came to see them. He advised Ali and Fatima alayhi salam to make a vow to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that if both of them become better, they'd fast. So what did they do? They fast. Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, I'm quickly going over the story because it's almost 10 o'clock. Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, Lady Zahra, and Amir al-Mu'mineen, they fast for 3 days. When Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein get better, and they're fasting the first day, they fast, and when it was time to break their fast, what happens? A person comes and knocks on the door, and he says that, "O Ahlul Bayt of the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm a poor man, and I'm hungry. Please give me something to eat." The Ahlul Bayt, whatever they had at home that first night, they give it to him, and they drink water, and they go to sleep. They go to sleep. They had made a vow. 3 days consecutively they'd fast. The second day, they fast. When it came time for iftar, they hear another knock on the door. And the person on the door, he says, "What? O Ahlul Bayt, O Ahlul Bayt of the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my parents are dead, I'm destitute. Please give me something to eat." The second day, everything that they had on the table ready to eat, they give to the destitute. And they drink water and go to sleep. The third day, they fasted, and now it's time for iftar. The same thing happens. A person knocks at the door, and what happens this time? The person says, "O Ahlul Bayt al-Nabuwa, O Ahlul Bayt of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I am just a freed slave. I have nothing to eat. Please give me something to eat." 3 nights in a row, the Ahlul Bayt, they give food to these 3 people. When they give food to these 3 people, Amir al-Mu'mineen, he goes to masjid, he sees Rasulullah, he sees Amir al-Mu'mineen's face, and he goes to the house of Lady Fatima. He goes to the house of Lady Fatima and he tells them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed verses 5 to 22 of Surah Al-Halata, for whom? Ahlul Bayt. Verses 5 to verse 22. But what do these verses say? When you look at the tafsir of these verses, a lot of people, when you look at the first verse, Inna abrara yashrubuna min ka'sin kana mizajuha kafur. Surely the righteous shall drink of a cup that mixture of which is kafur. This is one of the first verses of Al-Ata, verse 5. The second verse, Aina yashrubu biha ibadullahi yufajjirunaha tafjira. A spring wherefrom the slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala drink, making it gush forth abundantly. A lot of people, they believe that it is Ali, Fatima, Hassan, and Hussein that is meant by Abrar in the first verse. A lot of people believe that. Ayatollah Sanad in his book Maqamat al-Fatima Zahra, he says that no, these personalities, these personalities, they're above these people. They're above the Abrar. The Abrar, he says that the Abrar will drink a cup of kafur. He says that in the second verse, there are slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who drink from a fountain, making that fountain gush. For these slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who are they? Who are these slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who drink from this fountain and make that fountain gush forth? Who are they? He says the answer can be found in the next 2 verses, where they say that these people, these ibad, are those that are afraid of the day of judgment. They hold on to their vows, and they, in the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they feed the poor, the destitute, and the slave. Who are these people that did that? They were the Ahlul Bayt. These ibad that verse talks about, it's these ibad that drink from this fountain. When they drink from this fountain gushes forth. This fountain gushes forth to whom? Then it goes down to the Abrar. Who are these Abrar? Who are these Abrar? Are they the Holy Prophet Damas? We know these Abrar are whom? These Abrar are people like Prophet Adam alayhi salam, who drink from a cup, who drink from the cup that Lady Zahra has drunk from. These abrar are whom? These abrar are people like Prophet Yunus alayhi salam. These abrar are people like Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. These abrar are people like Prophet Isa alayhi salam. These abrar are people like whom? Prophet Musa alayhi salam. These abrar are people like Maryam sallallahu alayha. All these people, what are they drinking from? They're basically drinking the leftovers of the Ahlul Bayt. They're drinking the leftover. If you go to tafsir, another tafsir, it says that what's meant by sharab here is knowledge. It's not meant knowledge. They get their knowledge directly from the Prophet, and then they give that knowledge to others. They give that knowledge to others. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in Surah Al-Maryam, verse number 17, about whom? About Lady Maryam. فَاتَّخَذَتْ مِن دُونِهِمْ حِجَابًا فَأَرْسَلْنَا إِلَيْهَا رُوحَنَا فَتَمَثَّلَ لَهَا بَشَرًا سَوِيًّا. And she had chosen seclusion from them. Then we sent unto her our spirit, assumed for her, that spirit assumed for her the likeness of a man, a perfected man. The Mufassirin of the Quran, they say that this spirit was who? Jibreel alayhi salam. Jibreel alayhi salam, he came in the form of a human being, and he gave Lady Maryam the glad tidings of what? Of Nabiullah Isa alayhi salam. What is the main role of Jibreel? What is the main role of Jibreel? To bring wahi. To bring wahi. If the main role of Jibreel is to bring wahi, did he not just bring wahi to Lady Maryam sallallahu alayha? For her to follow? But what does Jibreel do? Jibreel, he descended upon Lady Maryam to inform her about one event that was to take place in her life. And that event was what? The coming of Nabiullah Isa alayhi salam. For Lady Zahra, and I'm quoting from Maqamat al-Zahra, who quotes, he himself, he quotes from Dalail al-Imama, Abu Basir, I asked Imam Ahmad Baqir about Mushaf Fatima, which is a book that we all claim, the Shia claim, is a book of Lady Zahra. The Imam, he replies that it was revealed after the passing away of her father. And I asked Abu Basir, I asked, Ibn Rasulullah, does it have anything of the Quran? Does it have anything that the Quran has? He replied, it has nothing that the Quran has. Ibn Rasulullah, how do its pages look? They're made of white pearls, and it was said to it be, and this book came into existence. May I be sacrificed on you, Ibn Rasulullah. What is written in it? Ya Mawla, what's written in this book? Ya Abu Basir, it has the knowledge of what had happened in the past and what will happen until the end of time. It tells about the skies and the number of angels and other creatures with their names and their sum. It tells the names and numbers of everything Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created that He sent, that He does not send, and the names of whom they were sent to. The names of all the mu'mineen and the mu'minat who have ever existed and will ever exist with their numbers. The names and numbers of all the kafirin that ever existed and will ever exist till the end of time. It has the names of all the cities of the east and the west with their description and the number of mu'mineen and kafirin in each city and the deniers who live in each city. It describes century prime, its people and their story, who the unjust rulers were and who the unjust rulers will be until the end of time. The names of the Ayman, their description and their rulership one by one, and the description of their name and everything that has come to pass from the first era to the last era all exist in this book. It has the knowledge of the Torah, it has the knowledge of the Zabur, the Injil and the Quran. It has the knowledge of the names and number of people that will enter heaven and hell. The Imam, he goes on to say, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted the book to be revealed to say the Fatima, He told Jibreel, Mikael and Israfil to take it to her in the last part of the night. She was praying and they came to her, they gave her the book. They say, Assalamu alayka ya bint Rasulullah. They come. 3 angels are holding this Musaf Fatima. 3 angels. They come with this book at the middle of the night and they say, Assalamu alayka ya bint Rasulullah. The narration says that Lady Zahra, she was praying. What did the angels do? They leave the book by her mihrab and they leave. They tell her that this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then they leave. Lady Zahra, as soon as she was done with prayers, the Imam says that this book is 3 times 3 times the amount of the Quran that we have. As soon as she was done with prayers, the narration says that she started reading the book after Salatul Fajr, and she finished it by Salatul Zuhr. This book, Musa Fatima, she started reading after Salatul Fajr, she finished it by Salatul Zuhr. What is this book in reality? Alaykum salam. This book, you and I know it as Musa Fatima. You and I know it as the book of Sayyidah Fatima Zahra. But this book is not known as that. Where Alim Anwar? This book is not known as that. Where in the heaven? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَمَا مِنْ غَائِبَةٍ فِي السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ إِلَّا فِي كِتَابٍ مُبِينٍ. And there's nothing concealed in the heavens and the earth, but it is in a clear book. Meaning what? Meaning that everything that happens, it's in a clear book. And in Surah Yunus, Surah Al-Naml, Surah Al-Saba is known as Kitab al-Mubin. All these surahs, they say that this is Kitab al-Mubin. Surah Al-Ra'd, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we have Ummul Kitab. We have the mother of the book. Surah Al-Buruj, it says that this manifest book, this book, this Ummul Kitab is Lawh Mahfuz. It is a tablet that is what? Protected. What is this tablet that was protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What is this tablet? This tablet that was protected was that book that was brought down by Jibreel alayhi salam. What does this tablet have? This tablet has all the information from the beginning of time to the end of time. Everything that will happen, everything that will come into existence, everything that did not come into existence. This is what this tablet has. Is that not what Musa Fatima was? Is that not what it was? Secondly, I can touch this bottle, why? I can touch this phone, why? Why? Because there's something this bottle and I have in common. This bottle is made out of a substance. I am also made out of that substance which allows me to touch this bottle. That book, Kitab al-Mubin, what is it made out of? That Kitab al-Mubin is made out of Noor. That means that only someone that is Noor is able to touch that book. Only someone that is Noor is able to touch that book. So what does this mean? Lady Zahra, if she was able to touch that book that's made out of Noor, she herself is made out of Noor. She herself is made. This isn't me, this is the Holy Prophet himself. A companion of the Holy Prophet. He asked about Lady Zahra and the Holy Prophet. He goes, Lady Zahra, she existed before Hazrat Adam existed. And the man, he goes, Ya Rasulullah, can you explain further? He goes, look, you have to remember that Lady Zahra is not a human being like you guys. She is a hoor in the form of a human being. She's a hoor in the form of a human being. And he goes, Ya Rasulullah, does this mean that Fatima is not a creation? She's not a created being like us? The Holy Prophet, he says, know that Fatima was created thousands of years before Hazrat Adam even came into existence. From where? From the Noor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Fatima was created from the Noor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means what? That means when the Holy Prophet said that Fatima is a part of me, he was just not referring to that Fatima is a part of him and Alim al-Makhluqat. No, Fatima was part of the Holy Prophet and Alim al-Anwar, which is the Noor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to remember, I repeat, Noor is created. I agree, Noor is created, but Noor is not born, Noor descends. Noor does not die, but its luminosity can be invisible to the eye. Its luminosity can be invisible to the eye. A lot of people, Lady Fatima comes to these majalis, she's made out of Noor, she comes to these majalis, our eyes cannot see her. The Aima, they come to these majalis, they're Noor, our eyes cannot see her. If you look at science, science itself says that this human body, it illuminates. But our eyes cannot see it. If our eyes cannot see our illuminati, does that not mean that it's not able to see others? This is the status of Lady Zahra. But a lot of us, we don't know what her status is. We look at a lot of the sisters, who do they look up to? They look up to movie stars. They'll know more about a singer than they will know about Lady Zahra sallallahu alaiha. And this tells us something about our society. This tells us something. Third, Lady Maryam, I was comparing Lady Maryam and Lady Zahra sallallahu alaiha. If we want to compare the two, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said in Surah Al-Mu'minun, verse number 50, وَجَعَلْنَا إِبْنَ مَرْيَمْ وَأُمَّهُ آيَةً. And we made the son of Maryam and Maryam ayatan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that Lady Maryam and Hazrat Isa were a sign from Himself. A sign from Himself. But both of them put together make one sign. Both of them put together make ayat. Ayat is singular. If there were two separate signs, then the word ayatan should have been used. Two separate signs. But both of them put together make one sign. Meaning what? Meaning that if Hazrat Isa alayhi salam did not exist, then Maryam would not have been a sign. If Hazrat Maryam did not exist, then Hazrat Isa would not have been a sign. Both of them together are a sign. Is this the same with Lady Zahra sallallahu alaiha? Is this the same? When we look at the events of Miraj, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? Subhanalladhi asra bi'abdihi laylan min al-masjid al-haram ila al-masjid al-aqsa alladhi barakna hawlahu linuriyahu min ayatina innahu huwas samiul basir. In the events of Miraj, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this verse, He says, glory be to Him who made His servant to go on this nightly journey. We all know this. On this nightly journey. And in Surah Al-Najm, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us what these signs were. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took the Holy Prophet so that the Holy Prophet could see what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? No. So that the Holy Prophet could see these signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then what? In Surah Al-Najm, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لَقَدْ رَعَى مِنْ آيَاتِ رَبِّهِ الْكُبْرَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed him ayat, many signs. Not just many signs, the greatest of His signs. Meaning what? That these signs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed the Holy Prophet, each one was separate from the other. Each one was separate from the other. Brothers and sisters, as stated in the first verse of Surah Al-Bani Israel, the objective of the Miraj was for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show the Holy Prophet His signs. And in Surah Al-Najm, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that His greatest signs were shown to the Holy Prophet. The angels could not be His greatest signs. Why? Because at the end of the day, it was these same angels that bowed down to Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. So, in relation to the angels, Hazrat Adam is a greater sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes or no? Yes. In relation to the angels, Hazrat Adam is a greater sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But what happens? What happened? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He told all the angels to bow down in front of Hazrat Adam, they all bowed down except Iblis. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say to him? What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say to Iblis? He said, Ya Iblis, what prevented you to bow down to Him that I created with my own two hands? Were you of the Aleen? Or were you of the arrogant ones? That means what? That there were some Aleen who existed who did not have to bow down to Hazrat Adam. Who were these Aleen? Who were these Aleen? Because it was these Aleen that were seen as the highest signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who were these Aleen? As soon as this verse was revealed, the companion, he asked, Ya Rasulullah, who were these Aleen? Who were these Illiyin that did not have to bow down to Nabiullah Adam? The Holy Prophet, he says, they were me, Fatima, Hassan, Hussein. These were the Aleens that did not have to bow down. Lady Fatima Zahra is one of the Aleens. And we want to compare her to Lady Maryam sallallahu alaiha. But brothers and sisters, you and I, we still did not understand Lady Fatima. There came a time in history where this greatest sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was asking for her right. There came a time in history where this greatest sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was struck by a door. There came a time in history when this greatest sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was injured, and she succumbed to those injuries. She succumbed to those injuries. Inshallah, my brother, he will recite the Masahib also after me. But tonight is the night of Lady Zahra sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Please, can you turn off the lights, because I am going to recite Masahib. Anyone, please. Tonight is when we commemorate the shahadat of Lady Zahra sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why did she have to go and ask for her right? Why? Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulallah. Sallallahu alayka ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. Sallallahu alayki ya Siddiqat al-Tahira. Ya bint Rasulallah. Ey ارباب آزاد چلو مدینہ چلیے, ایک گھر سے دھواں اٹھ رہا ہے, وہ دھواں چولہے کے جلنے کا نہیں ہے, وہ دھواں اس دروازے کا جلنے کا ہے جہاں نبی کھڑے ہوتے تھے اور دن میں 7 مرتبہ سلام کرتے تھے. جب اس زر کو جلایا اور شہزادی کے اوپر گرایا, اس دروازے پر ایک کیل لگی ہوئی تھی جس کے اوپر مولا علی اپنا فوجی لباس لٹکاتے تھے. روایت کے جملے ہیں, جب وہ دروازہ شہزادی کے اوپر گرا تو وہ کیل شہزادی میں گھسی اور 50 لوگ اس دروازے سے گزرے. جب مولا علی کو رسیوں میں باندھا اور جانے لگے, ایک 4 سال کی ننھی سی بچی دروازے کو اٹھانے کی کوشش کر رہی ہے. آج زینب ماں سے دروازہ اٹھا رہی ہے, کل بابا علی کے سر سے رومال اٹھائے گی. شہزادی زہرا ہوش میں آتی اور فرماتی ہے, یا فضتا این العلی, اے فضا بتاؤ علی کہاں ہے. فضا کہتی ہے, شہزادی وہ دیکھو علی رسیوں میں بند ہے اور لوگ گھسیٹ رہے ہیں. شہزادی آواز دیتی ہے, اے لوگو علی کو چھوڑ دو. جب آواز کو نہیں سنا تو شہزادی علی کے پیچھے نکلتی ہے اور علی کی کمر بند کو پکڑتی ہے. جب علی کو گھسیٹ رہے تھے تو شہزادی کے قدم زمین پہ خط کھینچ رہے تھے. جب گھسیٹنا مشکل ہوا تو ایک ظالم شہزادی کے بازو پر کوڑا مارتا ہے اور فاطمہ گر کے فرماتی ہے, بابا جان میری مدد کیجئے. آواز دیتی ہے, لوگوں اگر علی کو نہیں چھوڑ دو گے تو قسم خدا کی چادر اتار کر بد دعا کروں گی. سلمان کہتا ہے کہ میں دیکھ رہا تھا کہ مسجد نبوی کے دروازے ہوا پر اٹھ گئے ہیں اور عذاب الہی آنے والا ہے. علی سلمان سے کہتے ہیں, سلمان جا کے شہزادی کو کہو بد دعا مت کرے. دربار سے شہزادی جب واپس گھر آتی ہے تو امام حسن سوال کرتے ہیں, اماں جان کیا آپ کا حق مل گیا؟ حسن سوال کرتے ہیں, پھر حسین سوال کرتے ہیں, اماں جان دربار گئی تھی کیسے تھا؟ فاطمہ رو کے پوچھتی ہے, اے فضا میری بیٹی زینب کہاں ہے؟ زینب جب آتی ہے زہرا چھوٹی بچی سے مخاطب ہو کے فرماتی ہے, اے میری بیٹی بابا نے مجھ سے کہا تھا کہ آپ کو بھی ایک دن ایک دربار جانا ہوگا. میری بیٹی یاد رکھنا کہ دربار بہت سخت ہوتا ہے, کیا کرو گی؟ زینب فرماتی ہے, ماں میں صبر کروں گی. جب علی واپس آتے ہیں تو فاطمہ گریہ کرتی ہے, رو کے کہتی ہے, علی یہ آپ کے ساتھ کیا ہوا؟ علی میں ان کی شکایت میرے بابا سے ضرور کروں گی. عزادارو یہی بی بی ہے جو فرماتی ہے, بابا جان آپ کے جانے کے بعد مجھ پر ایسے مصائب آئے, اگر دنوں پر آتے تو راتوں میں تبدیل ہو جاتے. ایک دن یہی بی بی جب بابا کو یاد کرتی ہے, روتی ہے, تو لوگ امیر المومنین کو شکایت کرتے ہیں,
علی سر جھکا کے فاطمہ کے پاس آتا ہے اور کہتا ہے زہرا مدینے کے لوگ آپ کی شکایت کر رہے ہیں، بنت رسول اللہ مدینے والے کہہ رہے ہیں یا دن میں رویا کریں یا رات میں۔ ازادارو فاطمہ فرماتی ہے علی مدینے والوں سے کہو رسول کی بیٹی ان کو زیادہ مت تنگ کرے گی۔ علی آپ سے ایک درخواست ہے کہ آپ میری لیے جنت البقیع میں ایک چھوٹی عمارت بنایا کرے تاکہ میں اپنے بابا کے اوپر رو سکوں۔ ایک دن علی دیکھتے ہیں کہ شہزادی کے چہرے کے خوشی کے آثار ہیں، فرماتے ہیں یا بنت رسول اللہ میرے بھائی رسول اللہ کے جانے سے آج تک آپ کے چہرے پر خوشی کے آثار میں نے کبھی بھی نہیں دیکھے، وہ کیا بات ہے جس نے آپ کو خوشحال کر دیا ہے؟ فاطمہ فرماتے علی میں آپ کو بتاتی ہوں لیکن پہلے آپ حسن اور حسین کو اپنے نانا رسول اللہ کی زیارت کے لیے بھیجے اور زینب اور ام کلثوم کو فضہ کو دے دیں۔ جب علی نے اس خواہش کو پوری کی تو فاطمہ فرماتی یا علی میں بابا کے قبر مقدس پر رو رہی تھی اور تھوڑی دیر کے لیے آنکھ لگ گئی تو میں نے اپنے بابا رسول اللہ کو دیکھا اور اس نے مجھے کہا اے میری بیٹی ملاقات کا وقت قریب ہے، علی یہ میرے بابا سے ملنے کی خوشی ہے۔ یا ابوالحسن مجھے آپ سے آج وصیت کرنی ہے، بتاؤ بنت رسول اللہ کیا وصیت ہے؟ یا علی کئی سال میں نے آپ کے ساتھ گزارا، اگر میری خدمت میں کوئی تقصیر ہو گئی ہے تو مجھے معاف کرنا۔ یا ابوالحسن میرے بچے چھوٹے ہیں، میرے جانے کے بعد ان کا خیال رکھنا۔ میری تیسری وصیت یہ ہے کہ میرے جنازے رات کے تاریخی میں اٹھایا جائے اور میرے دشمنوں کو شرکت کی اجازت نہ دی جائے۔ یا ابوالحسن میری آخری وصیت یہ ہے دفن کرنے کے بعد مجھے بھول نہ جانا، کبھی کبھی میرے قبر پر سلام کے لیے آتے رہنا۔ علی نے وصیت قبول کی اور پھر کہتے ہیں یا شہزادی میری بھی وصیتیں ہیں۔ میری پہلی وصیت یہ ہے کہ اگر مجھے کوئی کوتاہی ہوئی تو مجھے معاف کرنا اور اپنے بابا سے میری شکایت نہ کرے۔ میری دوسری وصیت یہ ہے کہ اپنے بابا کو میرا سلام پہنچا دینا۔ بی بی میری آخری وصیت یہ ہے کہ میں سلام کے لیے ضرور آؤں گا لیکن اس شرط سے کہ اپنے کانوں سے سلام کا جواب سنوں۔ روایت میں کہ علی اور فاطمہ رو رہے تھے، اچانک دروازے پہ دستک ہوا، علی نے جا کے دیکھا تو حسن اور حسین آئے اور رو رہے ہیں۔ علی فرماتے میرے بیٹو میں نے تو تمہیں نانا کی زیارت کے لیے بھیجا تھا، کیا ہوا؟ دونوں بچوں نے رو کے کہا بابا ہم نانا کی زیارت کے لیے جا رہے تھے، اچانک خلیل اللہ ابراہیم کی آواز آئی یا رسول اللہ فاطمہ زہرا کی یتیم آ رہے ہیں، بابا جان کیا ہماری اماں دنیا سے گزر گئی؟ شہزادی اور علی نے وصیت کیا۔ علی باہر نکلے مسجد کی طرف اور شہزادی زہرا نے کنیز سے کہا میں حجرے کو بند کر رہی ہوں، جب تک ذکر الہی کی آواز آتی رہے تو اس وقت تک سمجھنا کہ میں زندہ ہوں، اور جب آواز بند ہو جائے تو یہ جا کر علی کو اطلاع دینا۔ کنیز حجرے کے باہر کھڑی تھی، جو ہی ذکر کا آواز بند ہوئی تو فوراً مسجد جا چکی۔ علی سے کہا انا للہ و انا الیہ راجعون۔ علی واپس گھر پہنچنے کے بعد غسل دیا، کفن پہنا اور جنازہ تیار کیا اور آواز دیا یا حسن یا حسین یا زینب یا ام کلثوم اپنی ماں کا آخری دیدار کرو۔ سارے بچے آئے لیکن حسین ابھی تک انتظار کر رہا ہے۔ علی فرماتے میرے حسین ماں سے نہیں ملو گے، روتے ہوئے حسین فرماتے ہیں بابا جان جب تک اماں خود نہ بلائے گی تب تک میں نہیں آؤں گا۔ اچانک جنازے سے دونوں ہاتھ بلند ہوئے اور شہزادی کی آواز آئی الیہ الیہ یا بنیا، اے میرا حسین میرے پاس آ جا۔ حسین جا کے ماں کے سینے سے لگ کے گریہ کرتے ہیں. آسمان سے آواز